Right now at 5:30, stumping in Simi Valley. In 30 minutes, 7 Republicans will have their chance to speak to the country from here in Southern California about why they should be put on the fast path to the presidency. And they'll be doing it without the frontrunner, former President Donald Trump.
That's right. This is the second GOP debate so far, and it's being held at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in Simi Valley. NBC4 political contributor Dr. Fernando Guerra is there, and he's ready to shed light on tonight. Doctor, thank you very much for joining us. Now, talk to us. This is a Republican debate in Blue, California. How important is this debate for California?
Well, number one, there are more Republicans in the state of California than any other state. As a matter of fact, Donald Trump received more votes in California in 2020 than he did in either the state of Texas or the state of California. It shows you how big it is. Number two, it has one of the largest number of Republican delegates for the convention. If you win all of California delegates, you are already at 20 to 25% of the delegates you need to win the nomination. In addition, they're going to use a congressional system, and that might allow some candidates to win additional delegates. And, third and very important, California has one of the top 3 or 4 congressional delegations. I know that we think there's few Republicans, but there's still a large number of Republican members of Congress, and they need to be protected. They need to focus on California if they're going to keep that slim majority in the House.
Let us ask you this. The Biden campaign just released an ad targeting Latino voters. So how critical will the Latino vote be in this presidential cycle?
The Latino vote is very strategic. As all the viewers know, really we have not one national election, but 50 elections plus the state, plus D.C. And Latinos play a significant role in California. They're going to overwhelmingly go for the Democrat. But Latinos can make a difference in some of the states like Nevada and Arizona. Not Texas and Florida. They're very large there, but that's going to go Republican. California's going to Democrat. The two very important states, Nevada and Arizona, Latinos will make a difference. Biden and the Democrats need to win Latinos to win those 2 states.
And Dr. Guerra, of the candidates on stage tonight, who do you think has the most appeal for the Latino community?
Well, I would think that the 2 candidates who are children of immigrants, Nikki Haley and Vivek Ramaswamy, both are children of immigrants. However, you see Nikki Haley now being a Republican is very tough. It's not like the days of George W. Bush, who grew up with Mexican and Mexican Americans and had Mexicans as his families, or Ronald Reagan in 1985 in IRCA, in this great library that we're at. He reflected a lot of pro-immigrant stance. That's just not the Republican Party today. And so by saying, I'm not saying that they're pro-immigrant, they're just not as anti-immigrant as other candidates, and that I think would be Nikki Haley.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Fernando Guerra. Thank you for your time and your expertise.
That's right. And like we mentioned, former President Donald Trump is not at the debate. The current GOP frontrunner was in Detroit speaking to auto workers. NBC's Jay Gray has those details.
Good evening, and it is day 2 of politics and picketing. Today, former President Donald Trump spending some time just outside of Detroit and talking with auto workers. He travels here for a rally this evening, but getting some pushback from UAW members because his event is being held in a non-union shop. It's a parts and distribution center, but it's a non-union area. He does expect to have some of those union members, though, in attendance, and does hope to talk with them here. It's a much different scenario, though, than yesterday when we saw the president here and on the picket line. He was actually wearing a UAW hat while he talked with those striking workers and made it very clear where he stands as far as the tug of war between the big 3 U.S. automakers and these workers that are on strike. He is clearly in their corner and said so, sharply criticizing the automakers for not giving significant raises to these workers who have walked out. Let's talk a little bit about the actual strike itself with the politics surrounding all of this. It is now in day 13. There are more than 18,000 union members who have left the production line for the picket line. And look, union leaders say that number, it could climb quickly and very soon if they don't come to some kind of common ground, the 2 sides in this. I think the only thing the automakers and the union agree on, though,